Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of why AI technology will result in the end of civilization, for that matter, okay? And for this video, I'm going to explain why it will result in the end of civilization if it continues to progress the way it does. And not only that, but also what we can do to stop it from happening, okay? So now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of why AI technology results in a societal collapse, the first point of the three main points for this video, why it will result in it, is that first and foremost, it will obviously take away people's ability to actually, of course, do something. In other words, have a job to make money, okay? Because the truth of the matter is when it comes to AI technology, okay, the truth of the matter is, as they've already shown, they want to use it for every field of work, whether it could be manual labor, like working at job facilities and all that type of stuff, where you do like manual labor, like fix cars and all that type of stuff, or, you fix buses, or even work at like retail stores, like fast food stores or convenience stores. They've already shown that they pretty much want to have a system where robots and stuff do not only that, but also, of course, no surprise as well, of course, as well, entertainment um, such as TV shows, movies, music. They just want to use you know um, AI technology to do all the stuff for other people, which obviously would take away people's ability to make a profit, you know, um, from those particular fields of work. Because the truth of the matter is, obviously, if you can have something like AI do all the work for you, then you don't really need people to do it for you, especially since it takes anywhere from weeks to months or even years for the skills I mentioned, specifically for certain types of skills like music, art, literature, for like years for someone to become really good at it to the point that they can become efficient at it. Okay, it does take some time to become really good at it versus something that could just automatically just do the work for you instantaneously in literally like less than a minute. It could create a full blown song in a short period of time. Will the quality be the same? No, but it's more efficient. So the truth of the matter is, yes, it will absolutely ruin um, the ability for people to make a profit. And because people will not be able to make a profit because they won't have jobs anymore, the truth of the matter is, to put it bluntly, as a result of that, common sense would indicate that what are people going to do to get money? People might say people might still pay for money, or pay for things with money and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is, to put it bluntly, I don't really believe that in all honesty, because the government in general has shown historically that they can't even pay anything on time, especially when they have to pay a huge amount of people. They've shown to be extremely unreliable when it comes to the idea of being able to actually um pay anybody on time for anything, to put it bluntly. So what makes you think it's going to be any different here? And that's the truth of the matter. So first and foremost, absolutely not. I definitely do not believe that they will be able to um um you know um fix the problem. So as a result, you're going to have mass riots and a lot of problems because a lot of people are going to lose a lot of jobs, and as a result, a lot of ensuing chaos for that very reason. So that's my first point. Okay, why AI result in the downfall of civilization as we know it. Okay, so that's a first point. Okay, um, so that's the first point I want to get across. The second point I want to get across, why it's going to result in a societal collapse, is simply down to the fact that AI technology, of course, to add to that as well, the second main fucking point when it comes to AI technology, um, is it comes down to the fact that AI technology as well, of course, will create an existential crisis, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, if you have machines and stuff do everything for you, then what exactly is the purpose of human beings? If everything can be done to you by a machine, people are going to start wondering, what's the purpose of my life? Like, what exactly do I live for? What do I live to do? And of course, as a result, that's going to screw everything up and cause problems and even chaos and so on and so forth as a result of that, for that matter, okay? And not only that, of course, for a lot of people, even though for me, This is not a main concern for me, but for a lot of people, this is going to be a concern for, which is that they're going to be bored as fuck because it's like, what do we do with our lives if machines can do everything for us? What's the purpose of me being alive? Like, you know, like the world is going to be boring as fuck because there's just nothing for anyone to do, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. Okay, that is the truth of the matter. That's a second main point here, because the truth is, we already live in a boring world. Like, look at how fascinating life was thousands of years ago, okay? And I'm speaking in perspective of someone who thinks like this, okay? So just listen. Look at how interesting life was even 100 to hundreds of thousands of years ago. All the drama, all the chaos, and all the madness that was going on back then, okay? Yes, it was bad, for that matter. No one's going to say it was a good thing, all the wars and stuff that were going on, but at least made life interesting, and it helped build people, and not just build people when it comes to their character, like their strengths, their wisdom, and so on and so forth. It also just gave people actually some sense of adventure. Like, there's something to look forward to. There's something interesting going on in their life. Okay, that's how life was back then. That's why pretty much every movie and entertainment is based on things that happened in the past, for that matter. Okay, even futurism, is in a sense based on the past. Just like for space travel, it's based heavily on the mindset of people who explored the world during the age of colonialization in Europe. Okay, and that's the truth about the past. So it's very interesting. What do we do when we live in an age where we already have consumerism, and there's not really a need to explore and so on and so forth, at least for some time, because space travel is not developing anytime soon. As a result, you're going to have a lot of people who, of course, are bored because there's nothing going on. So, of course, as a result of that, it's going to cause a lot of problems, and a lot of people are going to wonder why they're alive, and a lot of people become depressed and just go like, "Why do I even live? I just kind of wish I was kind of dead," which is definitely not something I think anyone wants to see happen. So, as a result, that is another reason, because it's going to create an existential crisis, and it might even make people suicidal, for that matter. You'll be surprised at things that people become suicidal for. As I said before, it's not a main concern for me, but I know for a lot of people it will be a main concern for them, because a lot of people need something like that to make them feel like there's a purpose to life. Just saying, oh, we're just going to eat food and have sex, with like a woman or something, or even, of course, no surprise as well, you know, just talking to family and get along with family members, that's not going to do anything for anybody. And people are going to get bored. Like, there's more to life than just simply just living to be loved, and just eating and drinking and just basic pleasures, or to sum it up, love and basic pleasures. Like, that's boring and that's lame as hell, in all honesty. So as a result, a lot of people are going to get depressed. So that's my second point, and it'll make a lot of people suicidal and cause a lot of problems, and might even make people not really want to have children because they're just going to realize they're fucking miserable. So that's the second point. The third and the last point of why it's going to cause problems is that obviously it makes it easier for the government to control you, because they can just, pretty much, since no one can really speak out, especially through entertainment, because of course, you know, because the AI controls everything, that people cannot speak out against government corruption and issues like that, because of course, well, the AI does it for us, and it wouldn't be a need to produce instruments anymore, because a lot of companies would say, what's the point purpose of creating instruments, or the ability for people to do different skills or something that could be used to speak out against the government, because of course it costs a lot of money to do it, when we could have an AI do it for us in a few seconds, or even less than a minute, or even a few minutes, whatever. Definitely more efficient than a human being. So in truth, it's going to cause that problem. People cannot speak out against the government, and people don't have the ability to really fight back, because people are not good at anything anymore, because AI does everything for everyone, even for manual labor jobs, or anything. So people can't really do shit anymore. Even cars, they can just shut it down if they don't want you to go somewhere, because they're trying to get away the ability for people to use manual labor for cars. And that's the truth of the matter. So in short, it's going to just screw up the world. And those are the three reasons why. So how can we obviously resolve this problem? Well, the simple thing is, do not support ChatGPT as much as possible. Do not work with that company. They're stupid, they're evil, and they steal a lot of people's ideas. We should not really rely on it. And not only should we not rely on ChatGPT and these AI companies, which shouldn't be that hard, the best thing for us to also realize, and I'll eventually do a video talking about this in further detail, is to realize that we don't need that stuff. We as humans are the most powerful species on the planet. We do not need AI technology to just make things somewhat faster, which might have its benefit in that sense, but have the ability of screwing everything up in the process when it comes to people being able to make a profit through money, let alone have jobs for that matter. So as a result, we don't need that stuff. All we need to do is find quicker, easier, more efficient ways for people to become good at a job, or I should say become good at a skill, and that's all we need. Okay, so in short, that's a solution. A problem do not support them, and we just need a better, more efficient methods to train people, and that is all I have to say. And I'm